All right, let's pick up where we left off with number 8. Got my calculator ready. Here we go. Let's talk to it. Okay, number 8. Number 8. Don't I feel great? Wow, this is blown up. This is hurting my eyes. So this is my reference angle. That makes this the opposite. This is the adjacent. This is the hypotenuse. Wow, this is so much fun. Okay, so if 40 degrees is our reference angle, okay, and we want to solve for E and F. All right, well, I want to pick one to solve for first. If I can solve for E first and then F later, later, okay. So if I solve for E, then I'm going to have to use O and H here, right? I can't use F or A, my adjacent side, because there is nothing there, right? Since there is nothing there, you cannot use that side, okay? So if I use O and H, that means I'm going to go sine. So I'm going to go sine of 40 equals O, which is E over H, which is 7.6. Since my variable is in the numerator, all I'm going to have to do is multiply. E equals 7.6 times the sine of 40. Okay? 7.6 times the sine of 40 equals E is 4.89. It's 4.885, so I round that up. Now, I could, again, just like the last prop, just like number 7, I could go two ways. I could do the Pythagorean theorem. Ooh, that scared the heck out of me. Something just fell in my bathroom. Looks like my mirror. Yikes. That'll get you. All right. Thought it was Errol back there just like popping up to ask about how my weekend was doing. All right. So anyway, throwback. Give me a minute. All right, so I've gathered myself, but we're back. All right, so let's solve for F now. Okay, so to solve for F, I'm going to do the Pythagorean theorem this time. Since in the last one I did trig again, I'm going to do the Pythagorean theorem this time, and I'm going to say 4.89 squared plus F squared equals 7.6 squared. All right, just so you know that there are multiple ways to solve a problem. 4.89 squared equals some 23.9121. And for this sake, I'm not going to round that. All right, just to try to keep it as exact as possible. This is 57.76. If you round your final answer, that's fine, but don't round the work that you're doing it to get it, if that makes sense. So I got 33.8479. Again, not rounding until I take the square root of both sides. F is 5.82. Now, if you use trig to solve for F, hopefully you should have gotten around the same answer. I'm not going to be like a huge stickler on decimals. All right. Even like. So, if it's around that, I'm going to accept it, okay? Not all of these will be multiple choice, all right? So there will be some free response, and I'll be able to read those. I'll be able to make sure that you are getting the credit that you deserve. All right, it may just take me a couple days to grade those. We'll see what happens. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. All right, so I need to find G and H. I need to find both angles in here, okay? Now, here's the deal. If I find G first, so I got O, H, and A. Right. Well, I have all three sides. So what we're going to do here in this case is you would pick your favorite. Okay, you can pick your favorite. Now, I personally don't have a favorite trig function. Right? I just don't play favorites like that. I don't play favorites. Okay, so since I don't have a favorite trig function, I'm just going to use the one that comes to mind first. It's SOHCAHTOA, so I'm going to use sine. Sine is the first one. All right, so sine of G equals 12 over 37. I cannot emphasize enough that sine is not my favorite, okay? Sine is not my favorite trig function. So the sine inverse, remember for finding angles, we use the inverse sine, and remember that's found by pressing second sine. So I'm going to do something here. I'm going to pause the video again. I'm going to pull up a Desmos scientific. Actually, you know what? You're going to get a scientific calculator on your actual assessment. It'll be given to you. All right, so you'll have access to that even if you don't have a graphing calculator. You'll still be able to do this. So I'm not going to pull it up. Never mind. Sine inverse, I got 18.92 degrees. To find angle H, I would just do 180 minus that answer minus 90. Okay, so angle H, if G is 18.92, then H is going to be 180 minus 90 minus 18.92, 71. And again, these are all rounded answers, so not all of our answers are going to be exactly the same. Now, I know that's an issue for some of us, like me. Like, I like to know that I got the answer right, okay? But not all of them will be correct. Excuse me. They will be correct. They not be exactly the same, all right? So don't freak out. Oh, my goodness. I got to itch my face, but I can't. And we're back to it. Face has been itched successfully, so here we go. Successfully. All right, successfully. So here's my given angle. 40 is the given angle. This is my opposite. This is the hypotenuse. This is the adjacent. So again, the problem comes up. What do I do? How do I solve? What am I supposed to do? I can't use A and H, all right? No, but we can use O. So we'll use O and we'll find A. So I'm going to do the tangent of 40 equals 5.8 over K. All right, obviously you cannot use, I couldn't have done cosine because I don't know A or H in this case. Okay, so since the variable's in the denominator, that means I'm going to have to divide. Tangent of 40 times K equals 5.8. Denominator, I need to divide. So I divide by tan of 40. Divide by the tan of 40. So K equals 5.8 divided by the tangent of 40, which is 6.91. Okay, now to find J, I can use the Pythagorean theorem using 6.91 and 5.8, or I could do trig again. I'm going to do trig again, okay, and I'm going to use this time. I'm going to use O and H, okay. And the reason for doing trig again, just so you can see me do trig, is more and more. I think we're pretty good about the Pythagorean theorem, but trig needs some practice. So O and H. So sine. Oops. O is sine, so sine of the angle 40 equals O, which is 5.8 again, over H, which is J. Well, J is in the denominator. That means I'm going to have to divide. Cross multiply. Sine of 40 times J is 5.8. Divide both sides by the sine of 40. J equals 5.8 divided by a sine of 40, which is 9.02. Wow. That's interesting, isn't it? Yes, it is. Thanks for asking. Okay, so let's move on to number 11. Let's move on to number 11. Number 11, this is our small, medium, large triangle questions. Whoops. I know that DG is 2 and EG is 32. Remember, for these problems, you want to find the altitude first. So I'm going to call this X here. All right. If I look at these two triangles, remember small, medium, large. All right. I look at, let's see if I can do this. Come on. There it is. Okay. If I look at this triangle here. So I look at the small triangle. The small triangle has two side lengths, right? It has the X and the 2. So I can take it out. The medium triangle also has two side lengths. It has the 32 and X, so I can take it out. The large only has the 1, only has the hypotenuse, so I cannot take out the large. All right, so, okay, undo. All right, so remember, whatever repeats is our geometric mean. So 32 over X equals X over 2. Cross multiply, X squared equals 64. Square root, X is 8. So what is that? FG is 8. Look at the order that it appears. It wants you to find FG first, then DE, and then whatever. The other one. DE. We know what DE is. It's supposed to say DF. Shoot. It's supposed to say DF, and that would and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna find EF, Y, and Z. Okay, I'm gonna find, it's supposed to say DF. All right, so I'm gonna find DF first. Okay, if I look here, I have 8 and 2 and Z, so I can do the Pythagorean theorem. 2, 8, and Z. In your other triangle, you have Y, 8, and 32. All right, so I'm going to set up 2 different Pythagorean theorems here, okay, and do them both. All right, remember now, I want to find the altitude first so that I can do the Pythagorean theorem right away. All right, you want to be able to do the Pythagorean theorem right away. I'm going to circle back to this. Again, I just want to start from the beginning. I can't do trig in a problem like this because there aren't any other angles here besides these 90 degrees. It's important that you understand that you cannot just write in 30 and 60 and 90. That's not allowed, okay? But once I found the altitude, now I can just use the Pythagorean theorem. Here's my work for that. Here, on the smaller triangle, I had 2 and 8, and Z was my C. So I did 2 squared plus 8 squared to get Z squared. I got 68. Which is 4 times 17 to give me 2 root 17. Okay. On the other one, I did 8 squared plus 32 squared equals Y squared, because Y again is C, to get 1088, which is actually 64 and 17 to get 8 root 17 for FE. All right. Let's see if I have enough time to do this one here. Okay, so isosceles trapezoid, that means these two sides are going to be the same right away. I know that if that's 12, then this is 12. If this is 8, then this down here is 8. All right, well, I know if this is, I have a nice little triangle here, don't I? Okay, and this is the same triangle I have over there, don't I? I'm going to call this X, which would make this X. And I can say that X squared plus 12 squared equals 20 squared. Okay, I'm going to pause it and do some of that work. All right, so if you look here, I got 16. Okay. So that means this is 16, and this is also 16 over here. So to find the perimeter, I only add up on the outsides. This is a common mistake, so I want you to be careful when you're finding the perimeter of this problem here. I'm only going to add up the outside. So I need to add 20 plus 8 plus 20 plus 16 plus 8 plus 16. Now, don't include the 12s. All right, so a lot of people will include the 12, and I don't want you to make that mistake. Okay, it's the outer area. It's the outer perimeter. It's a perimeter of the outside of the shape, and I got 88 for that. Okay, remember when you say secure the perimeter of a building, in a movie, they run around the building and they make sure the outside is secure. That's the exact same thing here. Let's see if I have enough for another one. All right, so you're 30 meters from the base of a tree. Okay, so here you are standing. All right, the angle of elevation to the top of the tree is 60 degrees. All right, and this is going to be 90. You're 30 feet from the base. That makes, wait, I have 90, I have 60. That means this angle has to be 30. 30, 60, 90 triangle. Remember, A root 3, and 2A. The height of since this is my 30-degree angle, that means this is my A. That makes this side 30 root 3, and that makes this 60. Well, so what is the height of the tree? 30 root 3 meters. And the line sight distance is 60 meters. Anytime you see that, like, what is the line of sight distance from you to the top of the tree, that's always referring to your hypotenuse. Sometimes you'll see that in an airplane altitude problem, the line of sight from you to the airplane, that's always going to be your hypotenuse. The line of sight's that diagonal line that if I'm looking up at something, okay, it's the hypotenuse. Like if you imagine my eyes and like there's my line of sight is my stylus. Okay, that's it for today. For this video, I will pick up with number 14 on the next one. All right.